Hello, my lovely air signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. This reading is for you for the month of June 2023. So, there's a lot going on, and I'm going to start with Aquarius. Aquarius, Saturn is sitting in your second house, Saturn in Pisces. So, this is going to be quite a challenging time in terms of finances or if finances have been really hard the last couple of years. Now you're going to have to learn to be more disciplined with how you spend your money, with how you earn your money, with how you basically hold on to that money or how you treat that money. And you have to remember, and I'm feeling here that you have to remember the money's energy. It's ever flowing energy. And if you distribute it properly in very legal and very proper ways, then Saturn is going to reward you in the field of money. But if you continue to be careless with it, with careless spending, and you're not being too honest about how you earn that money, then Saturn sometimes tends to punish you or tends to restrict that area of your life, and we will even maybe push you out of your comfort zone. Now, this is interesting because at the same time, we have Jupiter in Taurus sitting in your fourth house. So, as much as it could restrict that comfort zone and that money flow, if this happens, but I don't want to sound negative. It's just that sometimes it will restrict that area of your life. But at the same time, you could become so disciplined with the way you handle money that ultimately you will, in your discipline with how you handle it, you might make yourself really comfortable within your space. And that also means expanding your home because Jupiter is sitting in your house of family roots and your home and your family. So it could expand a home, or you really, like, I feel like you need to find a place to call home because, as with Sagittarius, you're very difficult to pin down and you're very difficult to it's very difficult for you to just settle like that. It's like you're running away in places and you're trying to find a place to call forever home. Now, this could be a very good year or two to do exactly that, but it could only happen if you're very careful with your resources and your money. And so this is going to be very highlighted if you're looking to expand your family as well, or you're looking to cohabit with someone or move in with someone, or like rent a place or find a place to live. Now, this is an excellent time to do that. But as I said, you will really have to be resourceful with your income and with your money. Now, for Libra, Libra, you're going to have Saturn sitting in your sixth house. So I have to warn you that you have to watch your health. You have to be very careful about your habits. If you have been suffering from a specific health condition, you have to be very careful right now. I would suggest going to the doctor more often, getting checkups done, MRIs, definitely getting blood work done more often because the area of the sixth house could be enhanced by that Saturn that kind of brings on with restrictions and obstacles within that area. Or maybe you'll find that your job that you're in right now is just not satisfying at all. It's putting like a physical strain on your body and your mind, and ultimately that strain that's being put on by the work responsibility that you have or the day-to-day routine that's not very healthy at the moment, it could really really impact your physical health. So you have to be very careful of that. At the same time, you have Jupiter in the eighth house, so anything to do with other people's money, anything to do with transformation, it's a good time to break these bad habits. It's a good time to break free of that like inner demon that's telling you to basically poison your body, or it's not letting you progress properly. It's really, really enhanced, and you could have a lot of luck with a property, for example, if you have been renting property or you have been dealing with someone else's money or getting money from someone else like a family member. That could be a great time right now. So pay attention to this area of transformation, of leave no stone unturned when it comes to your money, but very much watch your health because your health could be the most fragile at the moment. If the reward if Saturn brings onto the reward, it could bring up a reward of good health and vitality. But because you have been so disciplined, you see, when we're not disciplined, then Saturn tends to restrict us in the area that we haven't been really disciplined in. Now, for Gemini, Saturn is sorry, Jupiter is going to sit into your 12th house in Taurus. So Gemini really could have a lot of luck in the area of life that is governed by the 12th house. This is your dreams, this is your deepest hidden emotions, this is about secrets as well. It can be, the 12th house is connected to the unseen realms. It can also be a house of endings and can be a house of big secrets, can be a house of like hidden things that our conscious mind cannot perceive. It's a very mystical house. This is why I think that Gemini in the next year or two with Jupiter, they're going to really expand that area of their life of the subconscious and hidden. So they might be venturing into a newfound spirituality. They might pick up a new spiritual or religious practice, more than anything like a spiritual practice, the likes of meditation, the likes of journaling, the likes of really connecting to that source. Because if you have been all out and about, being surrounded by a lot of people and just all being all about people and kind of shallow day-to-day conversations, now it's kind of really time to dwell deep, and you might have a really deeply spiritual transformation with Jupiter there. And Gemini, when it comes to Saturn sitting in your 10th house, so Saturn is going to pose obstacles and restrict the area, the line of your career. You could find yourself in a job for a very long time. And if everything was done by the book in that workplace, then you'll find yourself to be rewarded by Saturn. So what means is that you're going to get promoted, or you're going to be taken over a company or taken over a business, or your boss might actually recognize you in this position. It's because if you have been Saturnian in that, what I mean by saying that is when if you have been in a job position for a long time, sometimes when we see with Saturn being in the 10th house, we see that suddenly something happens, unfortunately, because that's just life. And, people get fired or they lose their job. There's a restriction and obstacle within your work career. It's almost like you're not even sure what you want to do anymore. Do I really want to stay in that job, or do I just want to move on? Now that's not very clear, and you'll have to really identify that issue. um, the 10th house is also about our public image. So make sure you don't do something to taint that public image at the moment, because you could find yourself to be quite fragile in that sense. At the same time, with Jupiter, it really will expand that depth of soul that you've been maybe soul searching for a while. It could bring you a partner that is also very spiritual and that is very connected to the other side, something that maybe you need to kind of properly ground your very airy energy. And now let's see what the tarot cards say. So the tarot cards for the month of June, it begins with the Sun card, upright Sun card. And the key meanings for the Sun cards are generally connected to our personal optimism, the vitality that we have, the good luck, enthusiasm, self expression, and joy. So, this is a very positive card for the beginning of June. You might start your month with a lot of optimism, freedom. Um, you might start it with a lot of fun. You might be really enjoying yourself right now, having a lot of confidence and talking to a lot of people. I keep hearing a lot of conversations and a lot of personal, just sharing a lot of stories with others, being out and about, and a lot of socializing actually is what I'm picking up on with air signs, because air signs are so intellectual and they have a natural need to naturally connect to others in an intellectual way. And they have the need to communicate what's on their mind always, even if sometimes means being a little bit, maybe a little bit doing it a little bit too much, which sometimes for others it can be a bit overwhelming. But in this case, The month starts with the upright sun card. It's a lot to do also with our solar plexus and our happiness and our confidence. As I mentioned with the water signs, if someone is compelled to wear more yellow or orange or do like a lot of sun meditations, being out in the sun a lot, that could be proving to be very beneficial for you right now. Air signs, it is also the card of truth seeking, wanting truth. And which is interesting, it's actually connected to the upright moon card. The upright moon card has a lot to do with our, dreams, illusions, intuition. There's also on the negative connotation, it has a lot to do with our subconscious. And I specifically feel this for Gemini and Aquarius. Whether they've been having a lot of insecurities, there's like a lot of anxiety and a lot of fear around them. But you have to be very careful because in being so overly positive and confident, you just have to be careful not to get deceived by someone, or you have to be careful not to kind of let yourself go too much or trust someone too much, because at the same time, you have to also be careful not to be carried on by the fear and the anxiety, just kind of letting yourself go properly. You might be feeling like you're not emotionally 100% at the moment. There's a lot of uncertainties and a lot of illusions, especially within the love apartment. There's like something that's not very clear. Either you're not clear about what issues you might have, or you're not clear about someone else's issue. There's a lot of things that are actually left unsaid, and there's been hurt in the past. And what's happening is that right now you're kind of looking for clarity. You're looking for the truth because the sun has a lot to do with clarity. The sun and the moon is two opposites that actually attract each other, but they need to complement each other properly. The moon is hiding the truth and the emotions, and the sun needs to shine a light upon that subconscious. So either you will have, if you like someone, if you're single, you have to be very honest with them. You have to be upfront. You have to tell them how you feel. You have to communicate this, and the other person has to receive that what you're saying, because otherwise there's no way of them knowing what you want, or there's no way of it's like they don't know what you want unless you show them, unless you shine the sun upon that moon, if that makes sense. It is also a card of emotional healing. So you might meet someone this month that will really bring to a lot of emotional healing. And you just have to make sure to let go of your subconscious fears in order to be able to open up a heart for someone new. Now, this person might be a person who works in healing, or could be a healer themselves, or it could be a person, a creative, like an artist, someone that's just very creative and they work within the creative field, like music or that sort of thing. At the moment, it's very highlighted and very likely to happen. The only thing that I have to also point out with the moon card is to be very careful. It's just like to put everything on paper. Everything has to be legal. Like try to make things as much as the by the book. Sometimes we have to be rebels, and that's completely fine because I'm a rebel too. But sometimes, doing things by the book is the way. Not obviously doing everything someone says, especially if that leader isn't righteous, but trying to be as transparent as the water in the moon card as you can. And this is going to be really important for the month of June. So if you're currently in a relationship, you might have a lot of insecurities and a lot of doubts about your current relationship. um, Whether they bring out the worst in you or you bring out the worst in them. There's a lot of like doubts at the moment, so you might be doubtful about your partner or whatever he's doing or she's doing behind your back. The best way is really to communicate these issues and see where you can work. At the same time, if you're single, I really see that you could be meeting a person that intellectually stimulates you in a proper way, and definitely brings up to um, very serene emotions and deep emotional healing. Towards, I would say, the moon card will incorporate the mid month of June. So, this is how you might be feeling a lot of uncertainties regarding your love life or your work. You're not sure if you want to stay or leave. You have to. Um, And the end of June is actually represented by the Ace of Swords. It's like basically saying, you know what, you're gonna have a moment of mental clarity. You need to clarify what you want, and you need to really gain mental clarity. And maybe this person is going to bring you some healing and mental clarity into your situation, and is going to basically answer all of the answer that needs to be answered. Or you're going to have a situation where something happens, and suddenly you have this like moment of mental clarity where it will eventually lead you to new exciting beginnings. And if you're planning, if you're sowing seeds of ideas of new projects, you're having new plans basically. So know that whatever plans you have, unless as long as they're not like influenced by negative influences around you, then this plan should be successful and should be carried out successfully. So don't worry about that. I just really wouldn't involve a lot of shady people around you, especially with the moon card. It could signify people that are not very honest, they're a bit shady. So I would definitely just really focus all of your energy into that idea, and leave that idea intact so it can be carried out properly. At the same time, at the end of the month, I see that you could be making a final decision based upon a very disturbing, well, I wouldn't say disturbing, a very important question, and a big doubt you were having. So it's like the first 2 3 weeks of June are gonna be like filled with some sort of doubt and mental fog. But then the last week of June is definitely gonna be filled with mental clarity, which will make you have you which will make you have your decisions a bit, will make you carry out these decisions a bit quicker. If by any chance you have been fighting a legal battle, now this should be very successful, and it should bring a lot of clarity and a lot of stability into your life. On the negative side, just be careful that you're not brainstorming a bit too much, putting too much strain on your mind, because as we know, with air signs, your mind is just overly active all the time. In regards to the full moon in Sagittarius, now for Aquarius, it fell into their house of friendships. And Venus and Mars are currently in your seventh house. So you could have met someone new, or you could have been out socializing a lot, and there could have been a lot of activities revolving that. You know, so even meeting someone new, someone exciting, is something that's very enhanced at the moment. When it comes to Libra, the exact same thing. The moon was in your well, not the exact same thing, but the moon was in your the full moon was in your third house, and it made an opposition to your ninth house. So might have been someone you had a conversation with and challenged your beliefs. And Libra, as much as you worship harmonious and balanced relationships, and you run away from conflict, and you don't really like confrontation, you were like forced to confront someone about your belief system, or someone who really challenged your belief system, or a heavy conversation that you had to have with someone. And Mars and Venus are currently in Leo, in your 11th house, which means that it could have been an encounter or a conversation with a friend that kind of went wrong, or was confronted, or you had to confront. Also, the themes of love, a hurtful situation or a hurtful conversation that you need to have with someone regarding that feeling of love, or in connection to love, or a friend, or someone who you used to know years ago. Generally for air signs, because even for Gemini, I mean, the sun was in their third house during the full moon, and then we have sorry, the sun was in the first house, obviously, because the sun is in Gemini at the moment, but then Venus and Mars was in the third house, a lot to do with conversation with other people. I would be surprised if during the full moon, when air signs went out, they probably met someone, or they had a brief contact with someone, and there has either been a confrontation of some sort, or there's been a lot of activity involving their social circle. So that has been a really good moon for air signs and fire signs, but it's almost like it didn't go without confrontation. Like something happened, like someone really challenged your belief system, or someone really challenged you as a person, or the way you think, for example. um so definitely, I would say, definitely keep your mind stimulated, Keep to your ideas. Don't get involved with shady people. Don't let them influence your ideas. Just go for it, and you're going to be successful. And you're going to feel this energy, specifically at the end of June. So, this is it from me. This was the last reading of the day. And I'll come back next month for another July reading for all signs. And take care. And if you like this content, please like and subscribe. And that's it. Goodbye.